what is remembered as probably one of the most infamous parts in the series for Fairy Tale, and one of the things that I think a lot of people had a problem with Erza around. I want to go over why exactly this wasn't a problem for me, because I think the overall picture of this entire encounter was overlooked, and people are only looking at it from the face kind of Erza versus Kyoka, and not really what it is they were actually doing. So, you aren't aware, or you need a refresher on the fight itself. Erza was fighting this demon named Kyoka, who erased all five of her senses, and Erza was able to keep fighting, even with none of her senses, and end up defeating her in the process. And while discussing, like, well, maybe she unlocked a sixth or seventh sense, Happy just says a simpler idea would be just because she's Erza. And a lot of fans were upset about that. And, they're like, well, it's how is it how is it she's able to do this as an asshole? It doesn't make sense. Here's the thing. You can only really call something an asshole if it ends up changing the outcome of the fight. Like, you can't say, oh, well, a character got some new ability, and that wasn't what actually, got them the victory that they were going for in the end. If they didn't achieve the victory, if they ended up losing, then he can't be considered an asshole. But at the same time, I think this was something given to Erza, kind of just to, pat her on the back, give her something cool just to show something that she's capable of, while at the same time, like, giving her a straight loss. Now, she did defeat Kyoka in combat. When it came to Erza versus Kyoka, Kyoka was, dropped. She was fallen. Well, that wasn't right. She was defeated. She had fallen in the fight. Erza, though, did fall shortly afterwards, but obviously, when it comes to a fight, first one to fall loses. So in that aspect of just, oh, well, Erza versus Kyoka, who would win in a fight between them at that time? Yeah, Erza ended up winning. But here's the thing that I think is overlooked. They weren't fighting to defeat each other. Erza was in that fight to stop Kyoka from activating Face, erasing all of the magic, in the entire continent. And Kyoka was fighting to activate Face. This wasn't a fight to defeat one another. This was the fight over Face's status and whether or not it would go off. Now, you can't really look at it really as a victory if the battle was won, but the primary objective was lost, because at the end of the day, that's what they were going for, not just to defeat each other. And like I said, it felt like, Erza being able to fight with none of her senses was just kind of, something given to her that was, at least she had something. Because when you think about it, Erza went into the fight with absolutely no possible way of stopping Face. She had no way of dealing with it that would have, helped her prevent its activation. Erza was screwed from the start, and there was no point where she was ever going to be able to prevent its activation. And you could argue, oh, well, Kyoka still died after this. Kyoka was going to die anyway. She used her life to link up to Face, so she could speed up the time on it. The second Face went off, she was going to die no matter what. And when you really look at all these things, like, you can't really come up with any. Erza doesn't know archive magic. She doesn't really have much for, like, oh, well, dispelling. Even if you tried to argue, like, well, maybe her Nakagami armor could somehow cut off the connection between them. I mean, that's only going to prevent the acceleration. It's still going to be ticking down. It's still going to be, oh, well, it's going down. Plus, she didn't have the magic quantity to even use her Nakagami armor. So even if you try to use that example, it's not going to really stand. Erza had no potential going into this fight of actually achieving victory. And I know a lot of people, like, consider this still a win on our part, but it really wasn't, because she didn't end up doing what she set out to do in this. Kyoka got exactly what she wanted to. Obviously, the dragons, showed up and dealt with Face afterwards, but Erza, she had no part in that. She had no idea what was going to happen. She had absolutely no hand in that entire event. So for her, it wasn't anything but a loss. So, I mean, really, like, when you look at that, like, how can that really be an asshole at that point? How can that be something that seems unfair if Erza ended up not really getting what exactly she was trying to do? So I just wanted to do a quick little video on that. It's been one of those fights I think is very overlooked. It's kind of like the whole Sting surrender thing. I did a video on that if you want to go look at my channel. Like, people only looking at the face value of it and not really looking at the details. Like with Sting, it had a lot to do with his character and how he was established in the Grand Magic Games arc. And this one, like I said, Erza, she lost and she had no possible way of achieving what she set to do in this whole battle from the get-go. So other than that, comment below, tell me your thoughts on this. You know, I'm gonna do a couple Erza videos over the next couple days. I just feel like doing some videos on her after, you know, they're really awesome fight she had with Laxus at 100 Years Quest. Other than that, like I said, comment below, thumbs up the video, friend the like button and subscribe button, and check out my other videos. For that, I appreciate everyone who's already subscribed, and I thank y'all for listening. Bye.